So you want long-term success as a freelancer. Here's the 3 things, the freelancer's code, if you will. The 3 rules you gotta live by to be long-term successful as a freelancer. Let's get into it. This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Okay, first thing is, and this is a lesson I do not want you to have to learn by yourself. Please take this from me. If you don't work hard for yourself, you will work hard for somebody else. Have you ever had a job? Probably, I don't know like what the pathway to freelancers is right now. But if you had a job before you became a freelancer, you know, just like you work so hard when you have to. The thing about my last job that like really stuck with me the most was just how I was able to go to meeting after meeting after meeting, to project after project, to another meeting, like stuff that I just find incredibly exhausting. And I was able to just do that day after day after day for somebody else simply because I had to. And I think the issue is when you become a freelancer, you know you have to. Like, you know you have to make it. You know you have to like make this thing work, right? But you don't have any sort of external boss. You don't have any sort of kind of supervisor who's like looking over you and checking in with you and making sure that you're getting your stuff done. It can be easy to be like, I'm just not feeling it right now. It can be easy to be like, I'll wait for the inspiration to hit until I tackle this part of the project or this meeting, or I'll go into the office a little bit late today, or I don't need to do that yet because I don't have that quite figured out. Like, all of that stuff is much easier to trick yourself into when you're freelance, when you're your own boss. So you gotta use your imagination, whatever it takes. Force yourself to work as hard as you need to work, and yes, take time off. Yes, unplug when the clock hits a certain hour and it's family time or whatever your life looks like. That stuff is all important. But if you do not work hard for yourself, if you do not push yourself, if you do not manage yourself well, you will end up being managed. You will end up working hard for somebody else. And I think we all agree that the goal is to make this work beyond our wildest dreams, right? So like, let's do it. That's code number 1, is work hard for yourself. I should probably talk about like hustle culture and how I don't believe in it, and how 2018 was very hustle culture-y for me, and like it was hard and I didn't get burnt out, but I got very tired and I didn't sleep enough, and like all of that stuff is not what I'm trying to say at all. I'm just trying to say, set boundaries on both sides. Don't fall into a hustle culture trap. Don't let your work consume you. Life is much bigger than just work, but also don't slide the other way. Nice little stopping point there at this red light. All right, thing number 2. This one's gonna sound a little counterintuitive, and that is be helpful to your other freelancers. Try as hard as you can not to think of people who are doing the same thing as you as competitors, but thinking of them as collaborators. This is totally countercultural to business and like capitalism and everything that we got taught in school about competition. But I've found, because of the internationalness of business now, because there are so many clients, there's more work to go around than I think we realize. For me, getting out of the sort of poverty, lack mentality of like, there's not enough, I've only got this small area I can work in, and switching to there's more than enough for everybody, and then just trying to help other freelancers succeed has just like, it's been a really good mindset shift for me, as well as, you know, I've seen many positives and more money and more opportunities. And there's gonna be times when you feel like you're competing, when you are competing, when you're like competing on a bid. That's fine, that's totally fine. But as much as possible, try to think of things not in terms of lack, but in terms of abundance as a freelancer. That's a hard one. It's a hard one to do. It's not easy. Before we get to number 3, let me tell you about the sponsor of the video, Squarespace. With Squarespace's fluid engine, creating the website of your dreams has never been easier. Start with a professionally developed website template and then make it your own with a reimagined drag and drop editor. And of course, your Squarespace site's gonna work on desktop and mobile, absolutely crucial. You can accept appointments, offer private sessions, coaching calls, run workshops, all from right within your site. And when you wanna figure out what's working, what's not, the analytics suite in Squarespace is absolutely fantastic. If you want to try it out, go to squarespace.com/CodyWarner, and then when you're ready to buy, use the code CodyWarner to get 10% off your website or domain purchase. Number 3 in this code is the battle, the paradox of free work. The battle is that it devalues the work that you do and the work that everybody else is doing for everybody else. So that's one of the issues with it. At the same time, I have done free work. I have used free work to acquire paying clients. I don't think there is a freelancer out there who hasn't done some sort of free work to get their foot in the door. Along the same lines as this is pricing way lower than all of the other people who are working in your industry. This is something that I've seen a lot more recently, especially when it comes to editing. And it's not that I know for sure that editors are offering their services for way lower than I would offer services. It's just that I'm seeing a lot more requests for like shorts editors offering $10 per short. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, just because it's short doesn't mean it's not like a complex video that has a huge ROI. Like, why would it only cost $10 to edit a short? Mandy Celine, one of my friends, is really good at calling this stuff out on Twitter. I absolutely love it. I'd recommend you follow her if you don't follow her yet, but she just kind of like breaks down, hey, this is how much this would probably cost. Look, I get it. This is capitalism. This is the market. This is the game. And that is a way that occasionally works to get a leg up in the game. In the game, in the market, it is the buyer's job to get the most value for the lowest price. And it is the seller's job to get the highest price for the least amount of value offered. That is just the game. That is the game that everybody is playing, whether they tell you they're playing that game or not. But take it from me, doing free work, doing steeply discounted work is not a long-term strategy. Eventually, there's insurance costs that you're covering, there's office costs, studio costs, rentals, equipment, you're hiring employees, other staff. So all I'm trying to say is try to get your rates up there as quickly as you can. It gives you more ability to serve the clients that you're serving, less stress wondering where the next paycheck's coming from. I understand the battle, I understand the struggle. You do what you gotta do, but try to keep this in mind. And if you're gonna do free work, steeply discounted work, at least do it the right way. Hit this video here, and I will see you over there.